It's tough. Oh. Can you guys hear me okay? Everybody's good? Well, that was a busy trade deadline, wasn't it? Just not only for us, but around the league. It's pretty, I don't know if I've seen it like that before. With so many deals going down, but definitely exciting for the league. Just want to say grateful for our team, our front office, scouts, analytics, to our seasonals. I think everybody did such a great job at the trade deadline to get what we wanted done and accomplished, and felt good about the results. I appreciate everybody that was here, KP, Veet, Luke. Hard to see those guys go, but Dante too is somebody we had to waive. Just unbelievable human beings, and we wish them the best on their next journey. And but when it comes to the Hawks, like we entered the deadline in a position to kind of accomplish several things. We wanted to accumulate assets. When you guys see around the league, like I think when I came here, almost 2 years ago, we were at a deficit of draft assets, and now we're actually at a surplus. And it's really important. You guys saw a lot of second round picks get traded and different things like that. And it really started in the summer for us when we made that trade. Moving back in the draft, we're getting a future first for this year's draft. So we really wanted to try and get some more assets. And not only that, but also just tools. Like trade exception that we got was really important. That's going to carry over to the next year's deadline as well. So we felt that that was critical in what we're trying to do, just getting more tools to be able to build. And like that's really where we're at right now. We're developmental. We're building towards something that's sustainable here. We just aren't in a place to go and trade, 3 first-round picks, 2 first-round picks to try and figure this out now. We're not at that phase. I'm really excited about our group. I feel like we've been competitive, and just a huge kudos to Quinn. He's been a rock star, given him basically 4 or 5 iterations of this team already this season, and we played 53 games. It's pretty remarkable the job he's done to both develop our players, and these guys are having career years, to where we're at now, and we're still being competitive in a game under 500 with a bunch of new players. So we're trying to figure this out still, and we do feel really good about the group that we have. We feel like it's a competitive group. We also felt like we helped our group for this season and the future. I think it was one of our big priorities too was adding size, and you guys saw what Jock did his first game. The guy drove here, which is wild, but he was just a rock star, and him and Onyeka we feel like is a good combination in the front court for us at the center position. So obviously made some other trades. Got some vets in here, got a young player in here, and Jonathan Kuminga as well. And we're really excited about all the new additions. I think they all have skill sets that fit within our group, and we're excited to see how it all meshes with our young group. And again, it's a kudos to Quinn. He's already thinking about this stuff and figuring it out. And we're really excited about not only the rest of the season, but the future going forward. So with that, I guess I'll open it up to the group.
You mentioned this briefly, just assets and tools, but as the trade deadline was approaching, what were your conversations and your goals that you, the organization, the whole staff here wanted to meet outside of just those assets and tools when you're looking at the current roster you just put together?
Yeah, I think in addition to again, everything's future forward, we didn't want the flexibility that we created the start of the season to be impacted by the deadline. And we felt like we maintained that flexibility, and again, your favorite word, optionality, going into the summertime. Like we really wanted to maintain that. We think there's some, there's always interesting pathways, and like getting in a trade exception, having the MLE, having cap space, different things like that. There's, that's how we got Nikhil last year. That's how we got Luke, and we want to take advantage of those circumstances and just maintain flexibility for moving forward. So we felt like we didn't harm that. We also felt that, like if you're going to make trades in this league, you need things to trade. And, we were at a deficit in certain things, and, it was hard to see people move, but at the same time, there was an importance to getting more assets to try and add to the team, not only via the draft but via, trade if it ever comes up. but we felt good about what we did.
Hey, Onsi, you're obviously familiar with Golden State. How
Mhm.
much did that factor into the deal to trade KP to the Warriors for Jonathan Kuminga and Buddy Hield?
Yeah, for I wasn't there when Buddy was there, but Buddy's awesome. I just spent some time with him this morning. And the guys of the Warriors had told me about his locker room presence and how funny he is, and I could confirm he's hilarious. The guy is awesome. Just he's going to be good for our group. Obviously, I know JK really well. I was there for I think his first 3 years. Um, it was for us. It made sense given like our timeline and what we're trying to do. Having a 23-year-old with a ton of potential, I think the things that he helps us with are like his rim pressure that he puts on. He's a phenomenal athlete. He's a good rebounder. I think in transition he could be absolutely phenomenal. So and he adds size at the wing position if we ever need to add another defender to guard one of these bigger wings in the league. So I'm really excited about Jonathan.
Hey, Onsi, I'm curious how you look at sort of like the financial flexibility of the two contracts that you brought in from Golden State, from Buddy and Kaminga, and how that maybe factors in long term to what you guys want to do.
For sure. I mean, with those two guys specifically, we're evaluating, right? We're gonna see how this season goes and understand where it all ends up. But we got a bunch of games left. Let's see how this all fits and works because they're both pretty good players.
You talk about the future facing and keeping your options open. How much do you kind of have to balance that? And how do you balance that with the fact that you're in season, you're in a playoff race, and I know it's not one thing or the other, but making sure you get guys back that can help you and all that. How do you kind of balance that in that navigation?
For sure, we're trying to build a program here that's competitive, right? We're not just we don't have our pick or anything like that, but even that is it's sunk cost at this point. Like it's not there anymore. But we do like the draft. We do like that we have two premium, like pretty potentially good assets in there, and like this is one of the most. I think it's probably one of the top few freshman classes we've ever seen, and it's a really impressive draft. So that being said, like we're trying to do both. Like we're trying to add talent, but also like with being competitive is really important to us. Like having a competitive environment in your program, I think just helps with player development, and I think it's really important where we at to be competitive. And I felt like we tried to do both things at this deadline, and we felt pretty good about it.
A minute ago, you mentioned giving Quinn like 5 iterations of this team. You made a number of trades. Do you get worried about making too many moves? Like, is there such a thing, or do you just kind of is it balanced maybe by getting people who go out? How do you?
No, it's a great point. I mean, like when I was in San Antonio, we barely made any trades, and like that's where we want to get to. Like we want to get to a point where we have our group, we know who's like the mainstays here, and move forward with like that. But we're kind of in a little bit of a transitional time now. It started. I think we made 5 trades in the past month or so. So there's a lot of change too. We started this year with Trey and KP, and now neither of them are here. So we're going to try and get to that point, but like at times you do need to be transactional to build for the future.
And Jock obviously made a bit of a splash in his debut. I'm curious when you kind of identified him as a target, as somebody that you wanted to bring in, and just how does he factor in long term?
Yeah, we've known about Jock for a while. Like he's been, I can't remember if he was there when I was like in my last year in San Antonio or not, but I've been familiar with his game for quite a bit, and just knowing how Quinn wants to play too just seemed like an easy fit. His basketball intelligence, his stretchability, his ability to get extra possessions, it's really important for us. And again, like we're seeing where this year goes, and we'll figure it out in the summer.
You talked a little while ago about being competitive. As you look at where you are bunched in the standings and maybe the teams near you and the moves that they made, what realistically do you see from this team as it's constructed right now for the rest of the kind of team is it?
Yeah, I think honestly, when it comes to expectations and things like that, the only thing I really care about is development and these guys getting better, growing as a team, growing as a group. I think that was a big reason for the shift this season was seeing our young core kind of grow and develop together and create a style of play under Quinn that made a lot of sense. So I just want us to be competitive. That's the biggest thing. I'm not going to put any expectations down there. We're trying to build this thing out to be really, really good and sustainable for a long period of time. And it was definitely never in the cards to go out and try and make a big splash right now and help us, move up in the standings or anything like that, because that's just short-term gains for us.
Onsi, so at the deadline, Porzingis, Luke, Veet, a lot of shooting going outside of the roster. With that Kaminga and Buddy Hield acquisition, how important did you value Buddy's shooting coming onto this roster with the guys that were traded before?
Yeah, for sure. Like Buddy's shooting it's very important for us. But we also, like, Gabe has been a decent 3-point shooter throughout his career. We look at Corey still, CJ, Nikhil, Zach, Jock, O's improvement as a shooter. Like, we feel like we've had enough shooting. When you add all the positions out and all the guys that are here, so we feel like the shooting has been okay. We added some athleticism and size, which I think was more needed, honestly, on our roster.
With Jonathan knowing that he's going to be out for a little while still
Yeah.
with the knee, and you mentioned evaluating him, what it's kind of, I know it's a tricky to answer, but how are you, like, what are you looking for? What are you evaluating with him in this relatively short period of time that can kind of inform the decision on the option in the future, especially because, I mean, he has, even this season, he hasn't played all that much in Golden State,
Yeah.
for example. Like, how do you kind of go into
Yeah,
that?
I think more than anything, it's just seeing how he fits in with the style of play and different things like that. He has some abilities that we just don't have on the court, honestly, with our roster. So him attacking the rim, him rebounding, him playing in transition. Let's just see how it all works. But he does have things that we looked at that make sense for us, and he's going to have an opportunity here.
Onsi, you mentioned just wanting to build sustained success. I know college totally different than the pros, but when you take a look at guys like Corey and CJ,
Mhm.
4-year college players that know what it takes to build a successful program, how do you think having guys like that in the locker room, going back to that trade, can carry over to the pros and what you're wanting to build here and thus just sustained success you
Yeah,
want here?
they've been rock stars ever since they've been here. I think it was like the second day where both these guys had their iPads with them, and they're asking other players questions about some of the plays and stuff like that. And then they know the answers. Like, their ability to teach the other guys some of the things, some of the tricks of being a pro, I think are super vital. That's one of the things that's tough with just having only young players on your team. It's hard for them to get a voice outside the head coach that makes sense in their development. There's certain things that CJ's seen in his long tenured career and Corey's seen. Like guys like Gabe now and Buddy, that I think only adds to that and the development and growth of our group. Cool. Thank you guys. Appreciate y'all.